In an emotional and rare event, families divided by the Korean War come together after decades of separation. These reunions, orchestrated through a strict lottery system, showcase tearful embraces, trembling hands, and faces etched with both joy and sorrow. The fleeting hours they spend together are bittersweet, filled with stories of lives lived apart and the heavy realization that this may be their last meeting. Before the chisels met stone, Mount Rushmore was a natural granite face standing stoic against the South Dakota sky. The rugged formation, untouched by human hands, bore no resemblance to the iconic presidential visages we know today. It was a canvas waiting for history to carve its mark, its sheer cliffs and jagged edges, a testament to the raw beauty of nature before art intervened. In 1957, amid the tense battle for civil rights, a haunting image was captured outside Little Rock Central High School in Arkansas. Elizabeth Eckford, dignified and composed, walked stoically past a crowd of angry white students. Among them, Hazel Bryan's face is twisted with rage. This photograph, taken by Will Counts, freezes a raw moment of confrontation, encapsulating the nation's struggle with desegregation. Maud Wagner, with her stern gaze and intricately inked skin, defied societal norms to become the first known female professional tattoo artist in the United States. In an era when tattoos were rare, especially on women, Maud's bold designs and pioneering spirit carved her name into the history of body art, inspiring generations of artists to come. Omaira Sanchez, a 13-year-old girl, became a symbol of resilience after the devastating Nevado del Ruiz volcano eruption in Colombia. Trapped in the wreckage of her home, her courage and composure in the face of unimaginable tragedy were broadcast to the world. Her hauntingly calm face, framed by muddy water and debris, remains a powerful reminder of both human strength and the fragility of life. The discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922 unveiled a treasure trove of ancient artifacts, glistening with gold and mystery. Among the dazzling items were intricately carved statues, ceremonial chariots, and the iconic golden death mask, each piece whispering tales of Egypt's storied past. The world watched in awe as these relics emerged from the sands, untouched for over 3,000 years. The fight for women's suffrage was marked by determination, sacrifice, and eventual triumph. This historic milestone granted women the right to vote, a victory etched into the annals of equality and democracy. Crowds gathered to celebrate, waving banners and wearing sashes that boldly declared their newfound power, honoring the relentless efforts of suffragists who paved the way. Hong Kong in the 1920s was a bustling port city, a vibrant blend of colonial influence and Chinese tradition. Its skyline, dotted with traditional junks and early 20th century architecture, reflected a place where East met West. The narrow streets buzzed with rickshaws, street vendors, and the lively chatter of a city on the brink of transformation. Backstage, Carrie Fisher stands quietly in the wings, watching her mother Debbie Reynolds take her final bow. The poignant moment between mother and daughter speaks volumes without words, a silent testament to their bond, both personal and professional. Carrie's gaze, filled with admiration and perhaps a hint of melancholy, captures a fleeting, tender moment, frozen in time. Long before the age of smartphones and social media, Colin Powell, the future US Secretary of State, snapped a candid selfie. Armed with an old-fashioned camera, he captured his own image, a casual, unscripted glimpse into the life of a man who would go on to shape history. It's a charming reminder that the urge to document oneself transcends generations. In 1960, first-class air travel was the epitome of luxury. Passengers lounged in spacious seats, enjoyed gourmet meals served on fine china, and sipped cocktails under ambient lighting. The atmosphere resembled an upscale lounge more than a mode of transportation, reflecting an era when flying was a glamorous affair reserved for the privileged few. In 1940, Boston, a light-hearted moment unfolds as animals make an unexpected great escape from the Animal Rescue League. The scene is filled with chaos and laughter as volunteers and bystanders scramble to corral the mischievous escapees. It's a delightful snapshot of an ordinary day turned extraordinary, capturing the unplanned adventures that life often brings. Margaret Gorman, with her confident smile and poised demeanor, was crowned the very first Miss America in 1921. Dressed in a simple swimsuit and sash, she embodied the ideals of beauty and grace of her time. Her victory marked the beginning of a tradition that would evolve over the decades, reflecting changing societal norms and standards. On May 18, 1980, Mount St Helens erupted with catastrophic force, spewing ash, rock, and pyroclastic flows across Washington state. The landscape transformed into an apocalyptic scene. Forests flattened, rivers choked with debris, and the sky darkened by ash. The eruption left an indelible mark on the region, a stark reminder of nature's raw, unpredictable power. Before his signature perm and soothing voice became iconic, Bob Ross sported a very different look. This glimpse into his past reveals a man yet to embrace the curly hairstyle that would become synonymous with his gentle persona. It's a reminder that even the most recognizable figures have their own transformations, both personal and professional. During World War II, makeshift air raid shelters were a common sight across Europe. One such shelter, ingeniously crafted inside a household cupboard, offered a fragile refuge from the horrors of bombings. Families huddled together in these cramped spaces, listening to the distant sounds of explosions, hoping the thin walls would protect them from the chaos outside. In 1903, the skeleton of what would become the iconic Times building rose above the bustling streets of New York. Steel beams crisscrossed against the sky as workers toiled at dizzying heights, unaware that their efforts would create the centerpiece of Times Square, a symbol of the city's relentless energy and ambition. In 1959, demonstrators gathered in Little Rock, Arkansas, protesting the desegregation of public schools. Their signs, emblazoned with defiant slogans, reflected the resistance to change that gripped many parts of the country. The tense atmosphere served as a stark contrast to the courage of those fighting for civil rights, determined not to let history repeat its darkest chapters. Air travel in 1925 was a far cry from today's sleek, high-tech experience. Inside the cabin, wicker chairs lined the simple, unpressurized space, offering passengers a bumpy, noisy ride. The pioneering spirit of early aviation is palpable, with travelers braving the elements and embracing the adventure of flying when it was still a novelty. In 1912, the children of Spitalfields in London's East End played amidst the cobblestone streets and brick tenements. Their clothes were simple, their faces smudged with the grit of city life. Yet, despite the poverty that defined their surroundings, their eyes sparkled with the universal spirit of childhood, curiosity, mischief, and dreams of a brighter future. Annette Kellerman made headlines in 1907 when she was arrested for wearing a form-fitting swimsuit at Revere Beach, Massachusetts. Her daring choice challenged Victorian-era norms, sparking a national debate on women's swimwear and decency. Annette's bold defiance paved the way for modern swim fashion, making waves far beyond the shoreline. During World War II, soldiers often found themselves waiting at railway stations, the rhythmic clatter of trains a constant backdrop to their journeys. Some were heading to the front lines, others returning home on brief leave. These transient moments captured a mix of anticipation, anxiety, and fleeting camaraderie among men bound by duty and uncertainty. At the farthest reaches of China, the Great Wall tapers off into the rugged landscape, its ancient stones gradually succumbing to the elements. This final stretch of the 13,000-mile-long structure is less about grandeur and more about endurance, a silent testament to the ambition and resilience of the people who built it, stone by stone. In 1945, photojournalist Robert Capa roamed the streets of Nuremberg, Germany, capturing the aftermath of World War II. The once grand city lay in ruins, its architecture scarred by relentless bombings. Through his lens, Capa documented not just the physical destruction, but the haunting emptiness that followed humanity's darkest chapter. Valentine Tapley, true to his vow, let his beard grow untouched for 36 years after Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860. By 1896, his facial hair had become a cascading symbol of personal conviction and eccentricity. His whiskers, long and unruly, were more than a fashion statement. They were a living artifact of political loyalty and stubborn pride. Inside a bustling Chicago courtroom in 1948, a man kneels, desperately pleading for his wife's forgiveness. The tension is palpable, with onlookers witnessing this deeply personal moment unfold in a public space. His gesture, a raw display of vulnerability, speaks volumes about love, regret, and the fragile nature of human relationships tested by life's complexities. In 1971, two iconic forces of American pop culture collided when the Brady Bunch met the Jackson 5. This memorable crossover blended television's beloved all-American family with the dynamic energy of Motown's rising stars. The photograph captures a unique moment where entertainment worlds merged, symbolizing a vibrant era of music and television history. A rare childhood portrait of Albert Einstein at age 3 reveals an innocent, unassuming little boy, far removed from the scientific genius he would become. His expression, curious yet reserved, offers no hint of the revolutionary ideas he'd one day introduce to the world. It's a gentle reminder that even the greatest minds start with simple beginnings. Pele, the Brazilian football legend, soars through the air in a breathtaking bicycle kick at Maracanã Stadium in 1965. The crowd holds its collective breath as he defies gravity, his athletic grace immortalized in mid-motion. This iconic moment captures not just the skill of the player, but the sheer beauty of football as an art form. In 1929, Chicago, a dedicated mailman poses proudly amid towering stacks of Christmas packages. His uniform crisp against the winter chill, he embodies the spirit of service during the holiday rush. The photograph reflects an era when handwritten letters and parcels carried the warmth of personal connection, long before the age of instant digital communication. Before restoration efforts revealed its full grandeur, the Mayan temple at Chichen Itza stood weathered by time, partially hidden beneath layers of jungle growth. The ancient stones, scarred by centuries of exposure, whispered tales of a once thriving civilization. Even in its eroded state, the temple's imposing structure hinted at the architectural brilliance of the Mayan people. Amid the rubble of a bombed London bookshop on October 8, 1940, a man stands calmly reading The History of London. The contrast is striking: fragile pages against crumbled walls, quiet contemplation amidst chaos. This powerful image from the Blitz embodies the resilience of the human spirit, finding solace in knowledge even as the world burns around it. A rare perspective from the torch of the Statue of Liberty offers an intimate view of the monument's copper scalp. Standing high above New York Harbor, this vantage point reveals intricate details often overlooked from below. The worn texture of the metal and the sweeping panorama beyond symbolize both the enduring strength of the statue and the dreams it represents. Captured in 1920, a playful boy stretches over a riverbank using his golf club to fish out a lost ball. His loyal dog, balancing precariously beside him, clings tightly, as if trying to help, or perhaps just not to fall in. The moment is pure and timeless, reflecting the universal adventures of childhood and the unspoken bond between a boy and his dog. Ruth Malcolmson, crowned Miss America in 1924, exudes grace and confidence. Dressed in the elegant fashion of the Roaring Twenties, she represents more than beauty, embodying the aspirations of young women in an era of social change. Her poised demeanor and radiant smile capture the spirit of a generation eager to define its own identity. Thank you for journeying through these rare moments in history. Each photograph offers a unique window into the past, capturing emotions, milestones, and stories that continue to resonate today. If you enjoyed this video, please like it to show your support for the Rare Moments in History channel. Which photograph resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, feel free to suggest any future topics you'd like us to explore. Until next time, thank you for watching, and remember, history isn't just in textbooks. It lives on in the images, moments, and memories we share.